Hi, my name is Adam Harris, and I am a criminal defense attorney and a partner with the law firm of Harris and Associates. We're located in Westmont, Illinois, which is right next to Oak Brook in the Chicagoland area, and we handle criminal matters in both state and federal court. We handle any criminal matters ranging from aggravated speeding or criminal speeding, DUIs, simple drug possessions, all the way up to large federal drug conspiracies, kidnapping, bank robberies, murders, you name it. I wanted to put together a quick video to talk to you about the legal risks associated with possessing, ingesting, and driving with prescription medications. Before I do that, I want to put out a quick disclaimer that this is by no means to be considered legal advice. I'm not your attorney. I don't know any specifics pertaining to any legal issues that you may be facing today or that you may be facing in the future. This video is merely an informative video. So with that being said, let's talk about prescription medications, specifically controlled substances. So within prescription medications, some of those medications are considered controlled substances and some are not. Drugs like high blood pressure medicine and antibiotics are not controlled substances. Controlled substances are drugs or substances that are tightly regulated by the federal government because they pose a risk of abuse or addiction. We're talking about categories of drugs including opiates, stimulants, depressants, hallucinogens, and anabolic steroids. In addition to that, most illicit or illegal drugs are categorized as controlled substances as well. Drugs like heroin, crystal meth, and ecstasy. But let's stay focused on just the prescription medications that are considered controlled substances today. So let me give you a hypothetical. Let's use Vicodin. Most of you are probably familiar with Vicodin. It's a very commonly prescribed painkiller. It is an opiate. It's actually hydrocodone, and it is considered and categorized as a controlled substance in this country. If you are prescribed a bottle of Vicodin from a doctor, it is legal for you to possess it. It's legal for you to ingest it, and it's also legal for you to drive on it as long as you're not impaired in any way when you're driving, as long as it doesn't affect your ability to properly operate a motor vehicle. The issues arise if you were to decide to share that bottle of Vicodin with a friend or family member who doesn't have a legal basis to possess it. So if you give a friend one of your prescription pills of Vicodin, that is a felony offense in the state of Illinois. You're committing a felony, so don't do it. Likewise, that friend who knowingly took that pill of Vicodin from you when they had no legal basis to possess it, if they take that pill and they knowingly put it in their pocket and they walk away and they don't have a prescription for that medication or any other legal explanation to possess it, that is a felony offense in the state of Illinois as well. It's called possession of a controlled substance, so be aware. What I see a lot of issues arise from are people who decide to ingest controlled substances, prescription medications, and then later on run into some issue with driving with a controlled substance in their system. In the state of Illinois, it is per se illegal to drive with any amount of a controlled substance in your system if you don't have a legal basis to ingest that substance in the first place. So we were talking about Vicodin. Let's stay on Vicodin. I'm going to give you a hypothetical. Let's say there's a dad, a 50-year-old dad, family man, no criminal history, hardworking guy, plays in a basketball league once a week. So he goes to his basketball game one night, and while he's playing, he rolls his ankle. And as a result, he sprains his ankle. It's a light sprain, but it's bad enough for him to go home and rest up and ice his ankle. So he goes home, he's icing his ankle, and his wife had dental surgery a couple days earlier. As a result of that dental surgery, her dentist prescribed her a bottle of Vicodin to help her with the pain. Well, the dad's in pain, so he decides to take one of his wife's pills of Vicodin to help him with the pain. So he takes the Vicodin, he has dinner, he ices the ankle, he goes to sleep. He has a good night's sleep. He sleeps 8 hours. He wakes up fully rested, feels totally fine except for this sprained ankle, has his breakfast, his coffee, gets ready for work, and then gets in his car to make his morning commute. On his way to work, he is involved in a terrible car accident. Let's say he's making a left turn and he fails to see a motorcyclist traveling the opposite direction towards him. So he makes the left turn in front of the motorcyclist and boom, there's a huge accident. The motorcyclist goes flying. and tragically that person dies as a result of the crash. In that situation, the police officers investigating the crash will likely determine that that dad failed to yield to oncoming traffic. And because of that, they'll issue him a ticket for failure to yield. Now, because he's been issued a ticket and because there's an accident involving a death, the officers will likely read him a warning to motorists, which states that you have to submit to blood and urine testing. And if you refuse to submit to that testing, your license will be suspended for a minimum of 12 months. So what does he do? He's got a decision to make. He's in shock. He was just involved in a terrible accident. It's the morning. He's not even thinking about that pill of Vicodin he took 14 hours earlier. And he's being told that if he doesn't go to the hospital to take blood and urine tests, they're going to suspend his license for a minimum of 12 months. He knows he needs his license to drive to work, take his kids to school, and just function in everyday life. And he also believes that he's totally sober, which for all intents and purposes, he is totally sober, but not under the law. And so by choosing to take that test, he made a big mistake. As I said, any amount of a controlled substance in your system is per se illegal in the state of Illinois. So because the dad took a Vicodin 12 or 14 hours earlier, his urine test will likely show positive for an opiate, for hydrocodone in his system. And because he has no legal basis to have it in his system, that is per se a DUI charge in this state. The state of Illinois looks at any amount of a controlled substance in your system as a presumption of impairment. It is presumed that you are automatically impaired, even if it's the most minute trace amount of a controlled substance in your system. So in the dad's case, he's likely to be charged with a DUI. But because the accident involved a fatality, it's likely to be upgraded to what's called an aggravated DUI. And in his situation, it would be a Class 2 felony offense, carrying with it a penalty of 3 to 14 years in prison, except in extraordinary circumstances. So if the dad had a prescription for Vicodin, no criminal charges, just the ticket and the civil side of it, whatever the insurance companies work out and fight out in court as far as who's at fault and what types of monetary damages should be awarded and all that. Now all of a sudden, we got a hard-working, good person who is facing the possibility of serious prison time simply because he did not know the legal risks associated with a very simple decision as to taking one of his wife's prescription pills, painkiller pills. These are real-world problems that happen to real-world people, good, hard-working people, because they simply don't know the risks associated with their decisions. This also applies to all you high school students out there and college students with stimulants. Stimulants are hugely prevalent with high school kids and college kids. We're talking about ADD and ADHD drugs like Adderall and Ritalin. Around midterms and final exams, a lot of you will be able to attest that these medications get passed around like candy. Be aware, it's illegal to possess it. It's a felony offense if you possess it without a prescription. It is a felony offense for you to give your friends one of your prescription pills. And it is also a criminal offense to drive with any amount, even a trace amount of those substances in your system. So I hope this information was helpful. Once again, my name is Adam Harris, and I'm a partner with the law firm of Harris & Associates in Westmont, Illinois. Please give us a call if you have any legal issues that we can help you out with. We will be posting another video in the near future. We're going to be talking about DUI stops, how to handle yourself with the questioning from the officers. We're also going to talk about the field sobriety tests associated with those stops. What they are, what they're designed to look for, and whether or not you should submit to those tests. So once again, thanks for listening, and we'll see you again soon.